Have you ever imagined growing a bounty of potatoes even without a large garden? Here at Crafted Nest, we believe every corner, no matter how small, can become a place for food and beauty. In this video, we'll explore genius potato growing ideas that thrive inside a greenhouse, perfect for anyone who dreams of fresh harvest with minimal space. If this inspires you, don't forget to subscribe to Crafted Nest for more DIY garden ideas and clever upcycling tips. Let's dive in and transform the way you see your garden. In the far corner of the greenhouse, where warm light slants in like a quiet promise, a strange little tower of mesh and soil stands proud. It doesn't look like much at first. Just a cylinder of old garden mesh, maybe once used for fencing, now reborn into something gentle, slow, and full of life. This is where the potatoes grow, not in neat rows beneath the earth, but layered skyward like a spiral secret. With each layer of soil and straw, the gardener adds a chapter, waiting for the soft fingers of green to push through and seek the sun. The magic lies in the gaps. Tiny cuts along the mesh invite new growth, and from every tier, leaves unfurl. It's a vertical rhythm of patience and yield. Nothing here is rushed, only layered, and it's simple. A handful of wire mesh, a few bamboo rods for support, loose, well-drained compost, straw to cradle each new tuber. No fancy tools, just hands that return each day with quiet tending and a bit of hope. You don't need a field to grow food, just a square meter of kindness, a bit of wire, and a belief that even old materials can rise again. And when harvest time comes, you'll pull the tower apart like a gift, unwrapping golden treasures nestled deep in the cool soil. Because sometimes the most fruitful places are built not outwards, but upwards. In spaces where land is scarce and dreams must stack upon themselves, the double-layer soil bed becomes a quiet revolution, built not just to hold earth, but to multiply it. Twice the depth, twice the story, and a secret chamber of roots growing in hushed conversation beneath. The base is sturdy and low, a reclaimed wooden box, nothing polished, just honest grain and rusted nails still holding true. The lower tiers where the journey begins, dark, fertile soil laid deep and wide. Above it, another layer rests lightly, like a lifted stage, allowing sun and shadow to dance freely across new growth. Between these layers, the gardener slips in straw and rich compost, crafting a cool passage for tubers to thrive unseen. As potatoes stretch downward, gravity and time coax them into that tucked-away chamber where warmth lingers longer and moisture stays kind. What's beautiful here isn't just a yield. It's a transformation of limited ground into layered abundance. The garden whispers that we can grow more even when we have less, and that every scrap of wood, an inch of space, still carries promise. And when the season turns, the top frame lifts off gently, revealing a silent harvest waiting below. Potatoes, hidden like forgotten treasure, dusted in gold and earth. It's a quiet kind of success. No fanfare, just a bed built by hand, an idea rooted in care, and a truth known only to those who plant with patience. That growth, like hope, sometimes flourishes in layers. There's a quiet beauty in things that hang between sky and soil, a rhythm to the way these grow bags dangle from bamboo poles, each one swaying slightly, as if in conversation with the breeze. No raised beds, no sprawling land, just air, fabric, and the slow breath of growing things. The frame is simple, made of bamboo cut clean and bound with rope. It leans gently like a gardener in thought, upright yet relaxed. Along the top pole, the bags hang like humble lanterns, each filled with a mix of compost, straw, and soft hope. From the tops, potato greens rise in gentle bursts. Below, the weight grows quietly with every passing week. Cradled by the breathable cloth, water trickles down after each gentle pour, feeding roots without drowning them. No tools are needed here, just old cloth, kitchen twine, and a quiet trust in gravity. These bags are more than planters. They are declarations of resilience, of making room where there is none. A balcony, a courtyard, a sunlit corner of a greenhouse. Any of these becomes a field when something hangs with purpose. And when harvest comes, there is no digging, just a gentle untying, a slow emptying, a discovery around, firm tubers nestled in folds like treasures tucked in linen. Soil and spud spill out together, warm and generous. In the dance of the hanging bags, we're reminded we don't need wide land to grow deeply. Sometimes all it takes is a frame of bamboo and a willingness to let things rise and fall gently. In the quiet back corner where grass once refused to grow, a tower now rises. Not of stone or wood, but of worn-out tires stacked with a quiet sense of purpose. Faded and imperfect, these rubber rings once carried weight across distant roads. Now they hold the promise of food. It begins simply. One tire on the ground, filled with rich soil and a few nestled seed potatoes. As days lengthen and vines stretch upward, another tire is gently laid on top, then another and another still. Each one added like a new verse to a growing song. Inside, roots dive deep, cradled by straw and compost that stays warm and damp. The tower breathes through its cracks, and in time, it swells with life from the bottom up. There is no hurry, only rhythm, a balance of weight and growth, gravity and grace. To build one is to believe that even the discarded has value, that rubber can hold nourishment, and that stacked decay can become a fountain of abundance. The gardener checks it each day, brushing away weeds, layering fresh straw, whispering encouragement into black hollow that now serves life. And when it's time, when leaves yellow and stems begin to dry, the tires come down one by one, each revealing golden orbs hidden in the cool, dark cradle of soil. A harvest layered, not spread. A meal built in a column of cast-offs. In every tire tower, there's a lesson that upward isn't just for trees and towers. Sometimes it's for potatoes, and sometimes it's for us. In a world full of waste, some things ask to be held a little longer, to be reimagined. The old barrel, once a vessel for rain or rice or fuel, now stands proudly under the greenhouse's edge, no longer forgotten. It has become a grow bin, bold, round, and surprisingly tender in its offering. Sliced open, smoothed, and breathed into again with soil and straw, the barrel welcomes roots in search of new shelter. Its walls hold heat, its base drains clean, and from its curved spine, green leaves rise with unwavering confidence. The gardener, gentle and steady, layers compost and bedding like a warm invitation. One hole at a time, they tuck in potato starts, each one destined to swell quietly inside this cocoon of color. No digging, no kneeling, just tending and topping, week by week, until the barrel hums with life inside. It's efficient, yes, but it's also oddly beautiful. These lines of barrels painted and patched, standing upright like sentinels of the soil. Each holds a different dream. Roots stretching downward, leaves reaching up and in between, the silent miracle of growing food in a circle once tossed aside. And when the season turns, there's no fanfare, just a slow tilt, a gentle spill, a handful of warm earth giving way to gold. Potatoes, perfect and rounded, roll into waiting hands like little gift from within. A barrel doesn't need to be new to begin again. In the garden, even what once stored fuel can grow food. It only needs someone to see it, not as trash, but as a container of quiet hope. There's a quiet science behind the garden's gentlest rhythm. The slow drip of water, drop by drop, nurturing from below. In the stillness of a sun-warmed greenhouse, plastic bottles, once tossed and forgotten, now carry life in the most humble way. Cut, pierced, and turned upside down, these bottles don't shout for attention. They rest in soil like caretakers, delivering water not in floods, but in whispers. The earth accepts each drop of patience, and the roots below stretch toward this kindness like thirsty hands. The gardener watches with quiet smile. No hoses, no rushing, just the knowledge that a little, done slowly, can be more than enough. A single bottle can serve a plant for days, releasing just enough to keep the soil soft and forgiving. It's a method born not from invention, but from intuition, from noticing that nature doesn't rush, and that plants grow best when tended with steady care. And it's accessible, no pumps, no wires, no cost. Just a needle, a reused bottle, and a deep respect for time. And in its simplicity, there's brilliance. The soil stays moist, but never soggy. The air stays warm, but never stifling. And the plants, especially those deep-growing potatoes, thrive in this rhythm of gentle release. When the gardener steps back, they see not just plastic and dirt, but a soft choreography between water, root, and reuse. What was once discarded now becomes essential. Proof that the smallest efforts can keep life flowing. And perhaps it reminds us too, that growth doesn't need to be loud. Sometimes it just needs to be slow, consistent, and kind. Some gardens are born from blueprints. Others, from whatever a person has lying around. In this corner of the yard, the beds don't match, but they belong. Their uneven edges and patchwork colors tell a different kind of story. One of hands that build without perfection, and of soil that welcomes everything just the same. Old drawers become sides. Cabinet doors become backs. The bench that once leaned in the shed now gives structure to something growing. Nails creak into place like whispered memories. There is no rush, just a soft rhythm of wood meeting wood, and the quiet understanding that beauty doesn't always need to match. The gardener fills a frame with soil mixed from compost and yesterday's clippings. Potatoes go in nestled below, with straw laid above like a blanket. In weeks, green vines rise boldly from every imperfect angle, as if the plants themselves feel grateful to be held by something that was once overlooked. These beds are raised not just to help roots breathe and drains flow, but to remind us that things already within reach are often enough. Scrap what isn't scrap in the garden. Its memory repurposed. Its resilience shaped into something new. And when harvest time comes, the planks are gently removed one by one. The soil crumbles and golden tubers tumble out, warm from the earth, smooth from the straw. In the simple wooden frame, built from stories and scraps, the garden offers back more than food. It offers proof that growth, real, abundant, forgiving growth, often begins with what we already have. The dome sits quietly like a breath held in anticipation, curving gently over the bed where something slow and green is learning how to grow. It's not grand, not factory-made, but it holds the warmth of a homemade sky, a transparent hush beneath which life gathers courage. This mini greenhouse begins with humble things. A few arch lengths of PVC or bamboo, a sheet of clear plastic saved from an old project, a few stones to weigh down the corners. It takes shape not with machines, but with hands and a quiet understanding of what plants need most, protection and light. Inside, the world is different. The air holds steady warmth. Even when the wind howls outside, the soil stays soft. The leaves stand taller. Here, potatoes are not just planted, they're cradled. The dome becomes a sanctuary, capturing sun by day and guarding heat by night. And yet, it remains humble. The plastic fogs gently with the morning's breath, collecting beads of dew that fall back into the soil like blessings. A vent flap opens like a sigh when the sun climbs too high, reminding us that even shelter needs room to breathe. What's beautiful is not just the way it works, but the way it was made, with scraps, with care, with the belief that warmth doesn't have to be expensive, just thoughtfully offered. And beneath this curve of recycled sky, potatoes stretch and root in silence, knowing that above them, someone shaped shelter not out of wealth, but out of love. Nestled in the corner where sunlight pools like spilled gold, the bamboo bench rises, tiered and gentle, like steps leading into a gardener's quiet rhythm. It was never bought from a store. It was built from what lay around. Lengths of bamboo, a roll of jute rope, a few patient hours, and the need to give each plant its place. This isn't a shelf. It's a living station, a workspace and sanctuary. The lower tiers cradle the beginnings of potatoes, tucked into fabric grow bags that breathe and sag softly with moisture. On the middle shelf, trays of compost wait for planting, while tiny tools lie ready like trusted companions. Each level has its role, and each breathes differently in the day's light. In the morning, the whole bench glows. By late afternoon, the top shelf casts soft shadows on the soil below. The bamboo creaks sometimes in the heat, a reminder that it too is alive in its own quiet way. There's a sense of care here, not rushed, not perfect. A fingerprint in the soil, a forgotten glove, the way the jute knots hold firm despite the weather. It's a place that grows not just plants, but a gardener's intention. To do more with less, to build vertically when space runs thin, and honor every inch with function and beauty. When someone walks by, they might miss it, but when they pause, they'll see. This bench is a ladder, each shelf a step toward growth, made not for climbing, but for tending. And in its tears, potatoes begin quietly to dream of soil and sun. In a garden stitched together by resourcefulness, the old sacks come back to life. Once used to carry grain, rice, or chicken feed, they now sit lined up like quiet guardians of soil, each holding a small, rooted hope. There's nothing fancy about them. Some are plastic and blue. Others, thick burlap with faint letters from another time. Their seams are worn. Their handles fray. But fold them down, pierce the base for drainage, and fill them with soil, and suddenly, they become something generous. The gardener moves them like chess pieces. Wherever the sun lingers longest, the sacks follow. One day by the fence, the next near the greenhouse. These grow bags are mobile, flexible, forgiving, perfect for those with shifting light, uneven ground, or dreams too big for small yards. Inside, potatoes burrow deep, wrapped in a cradle of compost and straw. Above, green shoots wave gently in the breeze. When the leaves yellow and the vines soften, the gardener peels back the sack slowly, revealing a cluster of tubers nestled close, warm from the day. It's a harvest that asks for no shovel, just a roll, a lift, and a gentle reach. And perhaps that's the quiet charm of it all. The way these discarded sacks, creased and creaky, now serve something tender. Proof that growth doesn't care for appearances. It only needs room, patience, and the will to try. In the garden, even what once carried grain can carry life again. There's something quietly poetic about an old drawer left behind, a piece of forgotten furniture with nowhere to go. Its use expired, its shape still holding. But in the hands of the gardener, even that drawer can bloom again. Pulled from curbside piles or dusty attics, these wooden boxes are reborn not with knobs and clothes, but with soil and seed. Their new contents don't slide open with a creak, but grow slowly, layer by layer from the bottom up. The drawer, once closed to the world, now breathes. Holes drilled into its base let the roots stretch and the water flow. Potatoes settle deep into the compost-filled cradle, shielded by wooden sides that once stored socks or spoons. No two drawers look alike. One's painted mint green with chipped corners. Another is stained dark with age. Each tells a different story, and each grows something new. They sit on benches, lean against fences, or stack like an urban staircase of life, where space is tight but dreams are patient. It's a kind of gardening that invites creativity, not perfection. A reminder that soil doesn't care about matching sets or straight edges. It only asks to be held, firmly, gently, so that roots can trust the space. And when the time comes, you lift the drawer and feel its surprising weight. Inside, nestled in straw and dirt, lie potatoes shaped like promises, each one grown from a drawer that once held nothing more than the past. Now it holds food and a little wonder. Sometimes the most unassuming things become vessels of quiet magic. The hollow concrete block, cold, industrial, one stacked in silence to hold back hills or frame structures, now lines the garden like a row of open hands. Inside each empty square, something soft begins to grow. Here, there is no need for wood or elaborate beds. The blocks do the holding. Their cavities, meant for mortar and rebar, are now filled with soil, compost, and the slow heartbeat of root-bound dreams. Each pocket becomes a cradle for potatoes, planted with care and a touch of stubborn hope. The wall curves slightly, hugging the corner of a greenhouse or edging a narrow path. It is steady, strong, and unmoved by weather. Yet within its rigid lines, life dances. Green shoots burst upward. Tiny blossoms whisper what's growing beneath. Round, tender things that never ask for much. It's not just about space. It's about transformation. A construction leftover becomes a vertical garden. A boundary becomes a beginning. And in these small square rooms, potatoes find shelter from the wind, warmth from the sun, and companionship from nearby herbs sharing the same wall. Over time, the surface grows moss, the edges soften, and what was once harsh becomes something strangely beautiful, a tapestry of concrete and green, hard and soft in conversation. And when the season turns, the blocks are emptied one by one. Each scoop of soil reveals gold hidden in the shadows, potatoes shaped by patience, a wall that gave rather than guarded. Sometimes, all it takes is a hole in a block, and the belief that even the coldest structures can grow something warm. In the hush beneath the leaves, where roots seek quiet nourishment, a simple white pipe waits. It stands upright, hollow, unassuming, rising just above the soil beside each potato vine like a silent steward of the underground. The pipe is nothing more than a length of PVC. Common, inexpensive, often overlooked. Yet here, with a few holes drilled low along its body and a thoughtful hand guiding its contents, it becomes a slow-feeding vein of life. Into it go the leftovers of the kitchen. Crushed eggshells, bits of fruit peel, a sprinkle of compost tea. No waste, no rushing. The gardener stirs gently with a stick, and moisture carries the nutrients downward, direct to the roots where they matter most. No surface flooding, no wasted runoff. Each pipe serves as a secret wellspring. The potatoes, buried deep in their beds, respond not with haste, but with strength. Their greens darken, their stems thicken, and below the surface, tubers swell in grateful rhythm. It's a method born of observation, watching how nature feeds slowly, how trees drop leaves to the soil and trust time. The PVC doesn't replace the earth. It listens to it, offers instead a direct line between hand and root, between waste and abundance. There's something beautifully quiet about it. No machines, no chemicals, just a pipe, a purpose, and the patience to wait. And when harvest comes, the gardener pulls potatoes from the softened soil, their skin blush with health, their roots fed not from above, but from within, out beneath the morning haze, where sun slips through leaves and dust dances in golden threads. A wooden crate leans quietly in the soil. Its sides are gapped and weathered, stitched together from old pallets once destined for fire or landfill. Now, it holds something softer. This crate doesn't boast smooth finishes or polished edges. The boards creak when pressed. Some are crooked, but between their gaps flows air, sweet, warm, and steady, wrapping around a bed of straw, compost, and seed potatoes like a breath held close to the earth. Layer by layer, the gardener builds it. A layer of straw, a layer of soil, a row of seed, another layer, and the crate receives each with patience, allowing the mixture to settle and warm, to breathe and rise. The gaps in the wood do more than show light. They give life. Moisture stays balanced. The soil stays loose. The roots dig deep without resistance, and the tubers form in pockets of air, unbothered by compaction. This is growth, held gently rather than confined. And when the green tops begin to yellow, the gardener removes the slats, one board at a time. No digging, no damage, just a slow reveal of potatoes nestled in the layers like sleeping coins in soft earth. What was once a crude frame becomes a cradle. What was once scrap becomes sustenance. In every crate built with care, there's a lesson planted deep, that even the roughest wood, when given purpose, can grow something nourishing and beautiful. In a quiet garden corner, where laughter used to echo off tile walls and steam once curled into the air, the bathtub finds a second life, no longer filled with water, but with earth. No longer a place for bathing, but for burying treasure that grows with time. Set atop bricks to lift it from the damp, this old tub becomes a pond of soil and straw. A drainage layer at the base, pebbles, gravel, broken pottery. Lets moisture pass, never pooling too long. Above it, compost breathes softly, and potato roots reach downward like swimmers exploring a sunken dream. The rim catches the sun. The enamel chips tell stories, and the rust only makes it more human. Proof that even what decays can cradle life again. Potato vines climb from the tub's belly with a kind of wild joy, their leaves spilling over like laughter returning after silence. Some vines are tied to nearby stakes. Others roam free, trailing across bricks and into nearby herbs that watch with curiosity. And beneath it all, hidden in the deep warmth of the tub's curved basin, the real harvest forms, round and golden, kissed by breath and shadow. When the time is right, the gardener reaches in gently, turning back the layers, and gathers what the old bath now gives, nourishment grown with grace. This is more than clever reuse. It's a poem to transformation, a reminder that every vessel, no matter its past, can hold something good again. All it takes is earth patience, and a belief that anything can bloom, even a bathtub. The laundry basket, one to carry her chores and clean clothes, now sits in the sun with a new, quiet purpose. Its sides, perforated with 100 small windows, no longer air out fabric but breathe life into soil. Filled with a light mix of compost and straw, it becomes an airy home for potatoes. No heavy lifting, no building, just a simple vessel ready to serve again. Through its plastic mesh, green shoots emerge, not just in the top, but from all sides, reaching for light in a dozen different directions. It's a sphere of growth, held in the most unlikely of cradles. The gardener can move it with the sun, from one corner of the patio to another, following the warmth. It's gardening unbound by heavy pots or permanent beds. And when the leaves have yellowed and the time is right, there's no digging, just a gentle tip. The basket gives up its treasure easily, spilling a tangle of roots, soil, and perfectly formed potatoes onto a waiting tarp. A clean, simple release. It's a reminder that the most useful tools are often the ones we've stopped seeing. That even a humble laundry basket can hold a harvest, if only we give it a chance to be filled with something new